Hello, how you doing? My name is Gilberto. This is Eunice Porto. I'm going to be interviewing her. This is going to be my digital native. How are you doing today,
Good,
Eunice?
thank you.
Awesome. So I'm just going to dive into a couple questions, just asking you simple bases of what you went through when you were in school back in the day compared to what you're going through right now in college. Might I ask, what year are you in right now?
I'm a senior.
Okay.
Yeah, I should be graduating this spring, so
Right.
fun,
Awesome.
exciting.
What's your major?
Health sciences,
Okay.
and I'm double minoring in Spanish and business.
Okay. Wow. So you have a lot going on right now for you.
Yeah, just trying.
Awesome. So I'm just going to dive into these questions. Like I said, if you need me to repeat any of the questions, please feel free to ask me so that way then we could just go forward with everything.
Okay.
So first question is going to be, what is your take on the education system and how we interact today with it? And with that question being said, I want you to think of what technological advances happened while you were in school back in the day and what has changed from then till now that has probably helped you in many ways or multiple things depending.
Okay, no, the education system has changed drastically. Wow, yeah. Technological advances, as far as I remember, when calculators is a big example. Calculators back then, we're talking about regular, basic calculators. You do subtraction, addition, division.
You write hello on it with the numbers.
Right,
the little
right.
thimble print that ends up picking up the sunlight just for it to turn on.
Right. Yes. Now we don't see that. We have calculators that are helping you make linear equations, find x, y, and z. Those kind of calculators were not existent before. We didn't have those kind of tools to get work done effectively. Everything had to be done by hand, and you really learning.
Okay.
Learning, yeah. Computers was also so different. They were big. Before they were really not laptops. You have to buy a home computer. There was no such thing as you taking your laptop to school or to work or just carry it everywhere you go at an airport. Now there's such things that laptops that are small. We have iPhones. People used to carry. They used to have beepers. Now phones are as small as my hand. Before, the phones used to be so big.
Okay. So then, with all that being said, how do you research topics and discussions for class?
Mainly, I use the internet. I use different search engines. Before, it was more try to aim to look for your answers on your book. Now, internet is so available to you everywhere. Now they offer Wi-Fi at a Wawa, at a McDonald's, everywhere you go. You have access to internet and you have access to answers. So my main one that I use is Google. I always tell people, if you don't know anything, go on Google and it will give you answers.
Okay. So what do you feel that your teachers touch based on in school that they could have probably went more in depth in with the subject matter?
There is a lot of things that they could have I think they should have touched. A lot of teachers they do not like change, and they have a certain way of teaching, and they do not like bending any rules to modify or help a student. Now there is just so many ways that you can put in different learning strategies for students to learn.
Could you think of any off the top of your head?
Not too long ago now, my little cousin was telling me how not too long ago they started implementing tablets in kindergarten, you know, to play visual games, and the access to those things were not there before. So now those are available, and I feel like that has helped a lot in the development of learning, and and kids and college students ourselves.
Okay. How do you feel like you learn? Do you feel like you visually learn, or do you feel like you're more hands-on? Maybe a combination of both?
I'm a combination of both. Well, first of all, I have to look at it first. I have to look at you and watch you, see how you do it. Maybe
Visually analyze it.
right. Try to see if there is any other ways that I can do the same thing in a faster way or in a more efficient way in less time.
Okay.
So yeah, a combination of both, and then what a best way to be hands-on and try to do it yourself. So
Okay.
it's a combination of both.
Okay. Would you rather watch a movie and a documentary to gather information from a certain topic or a discussion, or would you rather read a book to get the understanding of that information?
Honestly, I would rather watch a video.
Why?
I believe that with a book, you really have to sit there and analyze every single thing that you're reading to figure out what's really going on, the what's going on in the mindset of the person playing whatever role it's playing in the video, or whatever it is that you're watching. But
Yeah.
like
Yeah. Would you rather?
I just
wa-
want to make sure that I'm going, that I am going
Right.
the right track.
Right. No, it's just. Would you rather watch a movie or documentary on the?
Yeah, and I did
on
say that it
financial
was
information compared to.
Yeah, like I said, with the
Yeah,
book,
but-
you have to really try to sit there and understand. With a movie, with a documentary, I feel like the movie already gives you the purpose, the feeling, the understanding. With a book, you really have to read every single word and analyze every single word and see how it would kind of relate to whatever's going on that you're reading. So yeah, for me it would be videos. So.
Okay. While learning, do your thoughts drift and scatter to different topics to get a better understanding of it in other angles and aspects, or do you try to stick to the one-track mind of what they're trying to give you, whether it's a movie or even a reading if you have to read, if you like to read, things like that. Do you fully go through it to watch it and then go back to understand, or do you just drift in different angles to understand at the moment what's happening?
Okay. Personally, I'm everywhere.
Okay.
Every time I'm watching a video or a movie, I try to analyze everything, every single move, everything that's being said. Maybe what's gonna happen next. Maybe what the person could have done differently to get a better outcome, or a different outcome. Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
Do you feel like you're somebody that's more eager or more easygoing when it comes to things, such as researching a topic, something that it's just for pleasure, it doesn't have to be for school or work, there is no deadline on it, but let's say you hear something that might catch your interest, something that might be world news related. Do you wait until you stumble into it later down the path because you feel as if it's something that's going to pop up anyway, or do you feel as if you're somebody that just has to open your phone and just start looking for it, or has to pop on the news and see what's happening to understand and get a general basis as to what's going on?
No, I am more eager to get information.
Okay.
Like I said, if there's a topic or a question that's being asked,
You want to know who,
something
when, where,
that's
why.
right, I need to know everything, and that's why I always go to my phone. Honestly, my phone is my best friend. It just is such a source of information that it sometimes it can be overwhelming, but it gives you whatever you need. And if I need to know something, I need to look it up right now because you never know when you're gonna need that information. I'm always eager to find out more.
I think that's a really common thing. Phones being best friends for females. So
For everybody, they should be a great source of information.
no, you're absolutely right. So when we go into this, how do you prefer to complete projects? Do you like to complete them alone or in a group?
I like working in groups. Don't get me wrong. Sometimes there are occasions where you're put into a group where you're not happy. Some people are not cooperating. They're not helping, and you know that's a maybe because I've had bad experiences with that. Sometimes I do prefer to work alone, but working in groups, I feel like it's such a great way to learn other people's perspectives and mentalities and find out more information. You know, you learn every day, and someone always brings some sort of information that you didn't know. So I working in groups is
So what tools do you think are major keys in working in groups that should be utilized?
well, social media. A lot of people are on social media nowadays. I know I can try to look for somebody on LinkedIn, which is one of the sites that I try to use the most. I am currently looking for employment, so that's the one good website where you can network with people who are looking for the same thing, or who are looking for people like us, who are looking for employment. House Party. House Party is an application where it's like a whole video conference where you have rooms that you can lock and have your conferences, which we use that a lot. Emails keeps us linked all the time and up to date with whatever events that are going on.
Okay. So what type of learning environment do you prefer? Digital online courses or in-person interactive with a teacher?
I've actually done both, and for some reason, I found myself to be more successful in the digital online courses. I sometimes personally, I like to be alone. I enjoy my time. I like I like the convenience that you can access your class and do your work at your convenience at your own time, as long as you meet your deadlines. Everywhere you can be in an airport, you can be in Florida, you can be everywhere, so that's definitely a plus. You don't have to drive anywhere, no gas money, student struggles. That's so for me, online classes where I found myself to be more successful in them. I love the interaction between the teacher and but I feel like it doesn't matter if it's really online. If you want to have that communication with your teacher, whether it's an online class or an in-person, you're going to try to make that attempt to see that teacher,
Okay.
or speak to that teacher in that matter.
Do you feel that in school the curriculum was easier or harder when you first started sixth grade or so, roughly, in the area? By the way, just to give you guys a little brief summary from when I was speaking with Eunice, she did come over from Honduras with family, so she did start the schools in the United States in the sixth grade. After this portion, I am going to let her give you a little brief interview on how her life was when she was also in Honduras and the culture shock that came about with that through technology and just life as a whole from in America and from being from Honduras. So, dating back into the conversation, like I was saying, did you feel that in school the curriculum when you started in sixth grade was easier or harder than now?
Oh, it was harder.
Why?
Harder, absolutely. The tools that you have now cannot compare to whatever we had before. Everything was so limited. I understand that internet was always there, but the information that you would get in the computers was just too much, was too overwhelming. So you were really like, we don't really know how to use this. We have it, but we don't really know how to use it. So we're just going to struggle pretty much, especially me in math. I've never been good at math, and back then, for me, math classes, me using a basic calculator, it was such a struggle, or not being able to use a calculator because those calculators sometimes were not available, or being able to use a laptop when they first, came to a school, to the school system, it was like such a shock. Or you're, downloading music from LimeWire, and down the line, it's just the now everything is just really, now everything is easier. You can download music, audiobooks. You didn't have audiobooks back then, or really access to audiobooks. Internet, the access to the internet was very limited. So now everything is just so available to you.
And I apologize about that. I promise you, we do not promote pirating music.
Do not
illegally pirate music.
For some reason, it is.
So back to the program. Did you feel as if that they could have did different things with the curriculum to teach you guys, maybe different tools to use in life in general, maybe in middle school or even high school, to gear you guys a little bit better? Now, of course, this is something that we're talking on a technological, speaking, but also, if you would like to, vast inside of the way of life as well. I want to hear what you feel as if could have changed in school, in high schools, middle schools even, that could have taught these kids a little bit better when they get out of school. Maybe for those kids that choose that, education and college might not be for them.
Well, I mean, I would say, can you repeat the question? I'm sorry.
That's okay. I just wanted to explain on how the way that the kids are. So, with kids being taught the way that they are now in school, what could they implement in the curriculum that could be technologically advanced, or even just an everyday tool that they could use that would give them a better opportunity coming out of high school compared to what they have now currently?
Well, I mean, I feel like I would say teachers should try to expand and stop being so, straight down the line, expand the ways you teach to kids. There's sometimes they have to understand that some kids are visual learners. Now we have the tools to change the ways we teach. I was actually trying to go for education, and I learned so many things about how there are tools now for the blind, for people who are deaf. There is just a lot of technological advancements that can be introduced now into schools to better the education,
Awesome.
So, and, I'm sorry. And, I would say too, teachers should try to introduce more life skills. Life skills, like how to file your taxes down the line. How do you use a system for you to file unemployment, if you ever were to need unemployment. How to do your FAFSA, how to finance a car, how to calculate a loan, your interest rate. Those are math things that we don't really get taught. What if you're paying high rates and you shouldn't? So I feel like they should try to introduce more real life problems into the education setting, so it's easier for us to understand down the line things in life, you know, how life works, how everything has to do with money, with the information we get, networking, you know, which social media plays a lot of, you know, a big role in today's society. So, you know, yeah.
I agree. So, the last thing I want you to do, if you could, I know that you told me that you came from Honduras when you were 13 years old. Could you share with us a brief, you know, summary of your life in Honduras and how different it was when you were in Honduras compared to when you came here to America, and the culture shock that you went through, technologically speaking? I just want them to get a visual understanding, basically, of what the challenges are in other countries, in other third world countries that don't have the availabilities and the benefits and the things that we have here.
Well, I came here when I was 13 years old, so I was still a kid, you know. Computers, I knew that computers existed. You know, my uncle had a computer at home, but I was never able to use it. You know, I would see him playing solitaire all the time, you know, but I never really used a computer. And whenever I did need to use, I remember AIM, the messenger, AOL, you know, with the dial-up. You know, now we don't have dial-up. You know, that's a big advancement also. But not everybody in Honduras owns a computer. You have to go to cyber cafes, you know. You have to pay for you to be in a computer for an hour. You know, and then after, you know, your time expires, okay, you gotta go home. You know, sometimes the cyber cafes are not around you, so you have to go somewhere. But I believe that now, you know.
So you had to travel just for you to be able to use internet on a computer?
Yes.
Around how far was the travel?
It all depends. Sometimes it all depends. 15 minutes. Maybe there was one right there around the corner where there's like a little grocery store.
Okay.
Or
it just
you had to, or you had to go to the center city to get a computer. You know, printing, they charge you so much money for printing. You know, printing was just, like I said, you didn't really scanners. There was no such things as scanners. Everything was just so limited. And now, when I came to the United States, everybody had a computer at home. It was just such a thing that you have to have. You know, just it wasn't a luxury, because in my country to have a computer is a luxury. No, you just want your computer to be on MySpace, or, you know, a High Five, or you know, those websites for social networking. But it was never, you own a computer at home. And when I come here, cell phones, there was really only people with money had cell phones. You know, people who could afford them. And we were not those people, so we didn't have the options of, you know, going in your room and looking on Google or whatever.
Right.
Now come here and everybody is on phones. I remember, you know, the Razors, the Motorola, you know, now we have iPhones. What a big change, you know. We went from a flip phone to a chirp phone, you know, and the Nextels were, you know. In my country, there was not such thing. Those things you would only see in soap operas on TV, because it wasn't a necessity for us, because everything was done by hand. You want to do math, we're going to learn math the basic way. From the beginning, how do you do a division, where you place the period, you know, after a decimal, or, you know, such things like that, you know. Typewriter, no laptops, no computers, you know. So it was a big culture shock. It was tough. It was overwhelming, because I feel like I had to be up to date with everything, because if not, I was going to be, like that. What's going on? Everybody got all this technology. I don't even know how to use the phone. You know, which by the way, I did not know how to speak English. Most of the things, the devices that we use, you know, it says power on, power off. You don't, especially me when I don't know English. Directions to how to turn a computer on, how to turn a TV on. It was.
You didn't even see that when you were before in Honduras, but here it was like literally
It
within a
was-
matter of 2 to 3 weeks. You
Every
felt like
little
you
thing
had to learn it all.
had on, off, and volume, and all this labels and all this, and then cables. You have to do the yellow here, and then the other one input output. You know, like I said, TVs were not like that before. You didn't have to HDMI cables, and you know, it was technology has changed how the world is. You know, in a positive way, and some negatives. You know, but overall in a positive way.
Well, that was a lot to digest. Definitely a lot to look into and understand the benefits of what we have. Something that we can definitely say that we take advantage of probably from day to day.
Yeah.
That we sit in maybe $400, $500, $600+ devices that sit in our hands on a regular, that never get a charge, that we barely even, you know, honestly take a second look to make sure we take care of. Certain people understand the value, but you know, just this is just a general understanding that a lot of people would definitely love to have those advances available to them, and just understanding that that this individual was able to get past that within a short period of time, and just to get a better understanding. How many words per minute do you think that you type right now?
Maybe 45 to 50.
And to be honest with you, that's probably more than
Depending
what
if
I
I
do.
don't have my nails on.
So without the cosmetics, 45 to 50. What we're going to be seeing is that it's insane to just see how beneficial technology has been in somebody's life. And I could definitely say that. I mean, I've been knowing Eunice now for 6 years, going on 7. A little bit longer than that, just, you know, on touch base notice, but it's about to be, you know, a whole decade, and to see the change alone in the amount of technology in the time frame that we've been friends alone. So I can only imagine from the time that she had to come here at 13 and past.
Can't even imagine how many editions of an iPhone has been passed. You
Right.
know, it's just a lot of crazy advancements that people really don't think. And I really do hope that teachers, you know, who've been teaching for a while, learn to use these devices and introduce them to their students from you know, from a younger age, because at the end of the day, technology will only grow, but it will keep growing, you know, and we need to be up to date with every single update that is out there, you know, is a must. So I hope that they do keep bringing devices and new technology, you know, new ways to teach them, whether it's an iPad, whether you introduce a new app in your student, you know, in your lesson plan, you know, it's such things. So.
Well, Eunice, I do thank you for this interview. I do appreciate your time with us. And I appreciate you guys
Thank
for
you.
taking the time out to watch this. Take care, and I hope you have a good day.